Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 2 of the Q&A, so let's go ahead and knock this out. Alright, first question. Hey Jason, I'm currently benching and doing standard overhead press 4 times a week. I'm doing 1-to-1 volume on bench/overhead press. For bench, I'm using widest legal grip width. So it would, since incorporating closed grip bench, do I really need it given that I'm doing large volumes of standard overhead press, which is shoulder width? That's a good question, brother. I'm not a big fan of the ultra wide bench. Now, granted, if you're still staying legal, it's not as bad as super wide. I do think it beats your shoulders up a lot. I tend to promote the closed grip bench because it lets you get a longer range of motion. It's a little easier on the shoulder joints, and you use just a little bit lighter weight to get the same stimulation. But if you choose to do the wider grip, that's fine if your joints can handle it. A lot of the other benefits from the closed grip, it's that longer range of motion. But if you're already getting that on the standing press, you're doing it on the overhead press already, and you're doing them in a 1-to-1 ratio with a lot of volume, I'm going to say you're probably going to be okay. I think you're handling that just fine then, because you are getting your closed grip work in with your overhead press, and you'll probably be okay. Now, you might want to take cycles in your training to where you do go with a narrower grip, you get a medium grip for a little while, because I think you're going to find training a lot of volume year-round with that real wide grip, you may start to see some problems with your shoulders. It may start to irritate them, and if it does, you know the solution, man. You need to bring that grip in a little bit. But if you're fine with it right now, I would say a lot of the benefits you would get from the closed grip outside of that, you're going to get from that shoulder width overhead press, which is, that basically is going to be closed grip. So you should be fine. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing until it stops working or it starts to cause any inflammation, and then change it. All right, next question. Hey Jason, happy Thanksgiving. My question is, whatever happened to bagpuss? For those unaware, bagpuss was a pink cat that I had that was from the UK. It's when I lived in the UK. I put it on camera originally to kind of joke with Ian McCarthy, because Ian McCarthy was behaving like a child. He does have a psychology background in some of his interaction with me. I put it up there so that he could speak to someone like on his level. It was just a joke because of the way that psychologists deal with children sometimes. And so I originally put bagpuss up there, and then he kind of evolved into his own character with me having fun with it and everything else. So, I mean, bagpuss was just kind of a fun part of my channel back when my channel was really small. But I mean, that was back in the UK. That was years ago. People need to remember, I'm approaching the 4-year mark of returning to Texas. This channel is over 5 years old itself, and it's not my first channel. I started another one over a year into it and rebranded and everything. Bagpuss, I actually have him right now. He is sitting in storage. I do have him in a storage closet right now. So he is actually here at my home. I still have it. And I don't know. I took him off here because I really wanted it to rebrand. And while he was fun and everything, I did a lot more antics back in the day. And people forget that. They don't realize when they see me do some of my antics and trolling and stuff I do now, they're not old school OG viewers of my channel. I used to troll and troll and troll and bagpuss and my Spartan costume and all that stuff was stuff I did back in the day, and it was all, you know, fun. It was just part of the quirkiness of my channel, and I've just kind of evolved what I've done, and I've rebranded, and so I haven't really brought bagpuss back into the mix. I really don't feel the need to do so. If I do, though, hell, I might bring him back in for classic stuff eventually. And actually, I do have a new Spartan costume, a much better one. And now that I'm getting leaner, it might be more appropriate if I need to make some videos in my Spartan outfit. My new one, yeah, it might go over a lot better. So we might bring back some of the old school stuff I used to do a little bit just for fun every now and then over time, as, you know, the way that I do my channel evolves and changes and adapts over time. So the bagpuss might make a comeback, but I do still actually have him. All right, next question. Hey Jason, can you explain why so many people hate you? It's various YouTube channels that duplicate your videos. Thanks for your response and keep up the great work. In all honesty, I didn't really have that many haters until all the Lane Norton stuff happened. Look, a lot of people hate me for different reasons, but what you need to remember, there's a group of dedicated trolls. And here's what I've had to explain. Anyone who's looked at their stuff, including a lot of long-term fans, have actually looked at a lot of what these people do, and they've actually even said, you'll see it when they'll post it on my own social media and stuff. They're real people who are like, yeah, the trolls are actually way crazier than Jason is. Essentially what you have is a group of people who decided that for whatever reason that I am literally the most evil human being to walk the earth since Hitler, that I'm like literally Hitler, and they've obsessed over me. And so they've just kind of made it their thing. And yeah, the police do watch all of it. Law enforcement watch all of it. They're aware of all of it. Doesn't mean they're necessarily going to do anything, but they do have to monitor those things. That's the reality of the world we live in, but they can't throw too many resources at it. But ultimately, these people have decided for whatever reason. And here's what I've had to tell police who've had to take reports on this. They'll ask, why do these people hate you, or why are they so crazy about this? And it's like, if I could answer that, I should probably be institutionalized. If I could legitimately explain to you why these people feel the way they do, I should probably be in a mental institution if I could understand them, or I probably have a PhD in abnormal psychology. Look, at the end of the day, it's just crazy to obsess over a person online to the degree that they do. But, you know, here's the real thing you've got to remember with those people. At the end of the day, they kind of showed recently that they were losers because my ex-girlfriend kind of got with them and was taking donations to give them all the dirt and everything they wanted. And they only came up with a few $100s. This whole group of people who spend all their time day and night obsessing over me, thousands and thousands of posts, videos, everything else, could only come up with a few $100s. I gave her over $1,000 in cash after I broke up with her. And I'm not wealthy, but you guys see the difference is that all these people are so obsessed with me, and they do all this crazy trolling and everything and hate me so much, but they couldn't even come up with $2,000 or $3,000 to get all the so-called juicy gossip. And the reality is, though, the gossip wouldn't have been that juicy. I'm actually way more normal than the internet would portray me. To be honest, guys, I think most people, if they knew the fine details of my life, would actually find me pretty boring. I'd be pretty boring. As far as people hating me, though, as far as I know, most of it stems back to stuff dealing with Lane Norton or the whole fake Merck thing. And at this point, guys, the fake Merck thing is now years old. It's not something that's even happened in the last couple years at this point. It's something I've admitted. Hell, it's something I've even apologized to people I offended. And at a certain point, anyone who's still holding on to something like that, when keeping in mind, guys, we'll cover that with the Big Rob question coming up. I never actually claimed to have been in the military. That was actually a myth that's not based on reality. Even people in comment sections who've come over and said, oh man, you did. I saw it in a video. Then they went back and checked and realized, came back and apologized and said, actually, it appears that you actually didn't, but you're still a dick. It's like, okay, that's fine. I'm still a dick, but I didn't claim to be in the military. There's a difference. There's a big difference between the two. Okay, fine. I'm a dick. I accept that. You know, move on with your life. But, you know, it is what it is. People hate me. I have my set of trolls. I have my obsessed stalkers. It's weird. Welcome to the modern world and the internet. Can I explain why they do it or why they still hate me at this point? No. And if I could, I would actually be a lot more messed up than people think I am, because you'd have to be pretty crazy to really understand their logic at this point. You really would have to be. You know, and at the end of the day, I think if those same people who spend all that time worried about hating on me did something that they could make money off of, or something productive with that same amount of time, they would be a lot better off. You know, they really would be. Because, I mean, people would be like, well, Jason, you hate on other people. It's like, yeah, but I actually get paid to do it. Do you understand the difference? At times, I'm a professional hater. I'm a professional troll. I actually get paid to do it. So there's a big difference between the two as far as the time investment. And I don't ever just obsess over any one person. I talk about a lot of different people, and there have been times when the people who I hate on, I also give them credit when they do something good or they get something right, you know, and I get paid to do that also. So it's all good at the end of the day. All right, next question. Coath, do artificial sweeteners have any effect on insulin? What's the latest? I think the only danger is that in general, sweeter foods make you hungrier, right? No, there's no real data to show that they affect net insulin turnover, and insulin in the absence of calories isn't capable of putting body fat on you. the data out there shows they're pretty neutral. As far as I'm aware, artificial sweeteners don't impact fat gain or fat loss. They really don't. If you need some artificial sweeteners to make some of your food taste better, knock yourself out. I don't really use that many these days, but I also don't have a big sweet tooth. So, I mean, for me, I prefer fattier, saltier foods is what I crave. So for me, I don't really crave sweets, but I guess if you really crave sweets and you need these things, then, you know, a little bit of Splenda in your coffee or a little bit of Splenda on your oats is not going to blow your diet. It's insane to think that it would. The data isn't there. I'm sorry, guys. Out of all the stuff we can talk about that's making people fat, I can assure you Splenda is not making people fat. Splenda is not driving the obesity epidemic. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I don't know, high fructose corn syrup soda combined with double bacon cheeseburgers, french fries, and milkshakes. That's probably what's driving the obesity epidemic, not Splenda. People need to, I don't know, get in touch with reality a little bit sometimes with this stuff. They just get crazy with these ideas. Nobody is fat from putting Splenda on their oats. Nobody. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time in part 3.